Boy, do I have a lot to say. Welcome to my. I have a lot to say, and yet I don't know what to say. Welcome to my WrestleMania 39 Night 2 review, WrestleMania Sunday, as we continue the weekend. Huge weekend for wrestling. SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, once again hosted the show. And of course, the big question was, were they going to be able to top night one? I think that there was a chance they could do it. Ultimately, there were some very strange decisions made on this show, which I'll get into. We're going to talk all about. If you're wondering about my thoughts on the main event, I'll give it to you, but I want to go through some other stuff. There was also some calamities on this show, and it wasn't all WWE's fault. We're going to get to that. So let's talk about the show. So Omos and Brock Lesnar did open the show, and it was a much better match than expected because they kept it short. There wasn't much for Omos to do. For once, it was one of those stories where Brock was like the underdog because Omos was such a big dude, and he kind of dominated Brock for a lot of the match. Then Brock finally started hitting suplexes, and the first one he hit was kind of low, man. It was kind of a low suplex, but he finally countered the chokeslam with the F5 and got the win. And it was interesting because I had said multiple times in my Discord server and taught the people that the reason why this match was even booked, besides the whole Brock didn't want to work with Bray Wyatt, is because they wanted to get that shot of Brock doing the F5 on Omos because it was like a big impressive thing, like him F5ing a 9 foot tall. He's not really 9 feet tall, but you know what I mean, huge dude. And he did do it, and he got the win. Clean 1, 2, 3. Just a power match. It was kind of like how they booked the previous night. How the previous night they had John Cena and Theory open up kind of a slower match. You know what I mean? That's kind of what they did here. Then we had what I thought was probably the worst match of the weekend. It was a fatal four-way tag match. Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Natalia and Shotzi and Chelsea Green, Sonya Deville. I had mentioned in my predictions video that this match felt like it was just put together to get them on the show and to give Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler a win. And that's exactly what it was. I think a lot of the girls worked hard. What I found weird is Ronda and Shayna didn't really appear to do much in the match at all till the finish. It was almost like everybody else was kind of working around them, and they were kind of there. I'm not sure if Ronda's actually injured. All she did was come in and do the armbar. It seemed like she was, so maybe they had to work around it. It just felt that the crowd wasn't into it. I wasn't really into it. I had friends over. We were barbecuing, so I did watch the match, but it just didn't connect with me at all. Like, it was just nothing. So Bobby Lashley came out with the Andre the Giant Battle Royal trophy. He was wearing street clothes, so I thought that maybe, I thought he was going to, because he had teased on Twitter he was going to challenge somebody for WrestleMania Night 2 or Night 1, and he didn't challenge anybody. So that was weird. That was a weird choice. Very weird. I'm cool with him coming out, but I was kind of hoping, there were rumors about him going up against Braun Breaker or Gable Steveson, and neither of those things happened. So I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking with that. Then we had what I thought was probably the best match of the night. Maybe even one of the best matches of the entire year. Triple threat match for the IC title. Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus. What a match. This stole the show, in my opinion. Everything they did in this match was just insane. They were stiffing each other. They were hitting each other hard. Hard chops, hard elbows, hard clubbing blows, boots. They were just doing everything. The match put a big smile on my face. The crowd was going absolutely bonkers for this. Sheamus, did so well. He did so well here. I love the sort of the stuff with Sheamus and Drew, how they were just kicking the crap out of each other, and then Gunther, whatever, would come in, hit his moves, go out. The crowd was into it. The announcers gave it a standing ovation. This is a 5-star match. Like, if Meltzer does not give this match at least 5 stars, dude, then the proof of his bias is there. It's just there, and it is what it is, dude. You know what I mean? This was just phenomenal. All these guys worked so hard, beat themselves up so very much, so badly. It is what it is. Bianca Belair versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. This was a very, very good match as well. There were some cool entrances. Asuka came out with like different women dressed like her wearing the masks. And then Bianca came out with like a step dance group. These young African American girls were there with her, you know. The match was pretty good. There were a couple of times in the match that was a little bit sloppy. It may have been, you know, a miscommunication. I don't want to be that guy on the internet who is disrespectful towards wrestlers, because I understand how difficult it is to be a pro wrestler, and I understand that, you know, if a couple moves go awry, it happens, especially if there's a language barrier. I don't know if Asuka really has that problem with Bianca, but this happens sometimes, y'all. Like, you know, you'll have a couple of, you know, awkward stuff. But the match was really impressive. I mean, Bianca Belair did this incredible deadlift vertical suplex from the outside in. There was a couple of, like I said, parts that were a little bit weird. There were some cool cradles. Like, you had a little bit of everything here on this match. The show really had a little bit of everything. And the finish was actually really, really clever. I thought it was really clever. What happened was, Asuka hit the arm bar, right? And it also, at that point, it's like, okay, are we in the finishing sequence? And we were. And what happened was Bianca fought out of it and then went behind. And I called the finish at that point because it was the right time to do it. Picked up Asuka from behind, hit the KOD, and got the 1-2-3. The match, I feel like the first half of the match, the crowd was probably tired from the three-way, but they got into it near the end, and Bianca Belair won. Now, that's interesting because obviously they are 100% behind Bianca Belair being the center of the Raw Women's division, right? There's no question about that. That's, without question, that is the plan. But I also found it really, really strange because, like, I thought, and again, it's just me thinking, that Asuka winning here would make more sense because then you could have Bianca chase her instead of having Bianca win. I think they're trying to give Bianca like a nice little streak of Wrestlemania wins, you know, like Roman, to establish her as being like the top women's athlete. And she's definitely a great athlete, but I felt like the Asuka decision might have been a better choice. So they went to this. Things got weird here. So Snoop Dogg and The Miz were out there. They announced 81,395, and when you add up both nights, it's like 161,000 people. 161892 was the number for both nights added up, but you have to remember two things. Number one, WWE is oftentimes dishonest with those numbers. They inflate them. And number two, some fans have bought tickets to both nights. Either way, the live gate for this show was probably insane. Probably completely insane. So, Snoop is in the ring with Miz. Miz was complaining about the match from the previous night with Pat McAfee that Snoop booked. And then Snoop's like, wait, no. I have another opponent, you know. And out comes Shane McMahon. Here comes the money. What a pop Shane McMahon got. We haven't seen this dude since what? Last year's Royal Rumble? Like, what a pop he got. So, Shane comes out. They book a match with The Miz. They start doing some moves like a leapfrog. He comes down from the leapfrog and he goes down. All of a sudden, the referees come in. Then they cut the camera to The Miz. Now, I've been watching this since I was 5. Whenever they cut the camera away from somebody who's down, it means we got ourselves a possible major injury. And that's exactly what happened. I do not know if Shane McMahon was... I don't know if Shane blew out his knee. I don't know if he twisted his ankle, but he could not get up. He could not get up. Somebody on Twitter wrote, "Here comes the money, down goes the money," because that's what happened. Snoop then pretty much called an audible and hit The Miz. Then he literally hit The Miz again and then hit him with a people's elbow and got the win. So Snoop Dogg has a win over The Miz. Phenomenal. I mean, you know, not phenomenal in a good way necessarily. Phenomenal in the fact that Snoop Dogg was able to call that audible, but I felt so bad for Shane. Shane goes out there, gets a big reaction. He's back, and then just that happens. I mean, I'm sure we'll have an injury update on Shane at some point early this week. They showed a video package with Russell Crowe tying into the Hell in a Cell match. So Edge comes out as Brood Edge. He had this cool, like, mask. Came out with a Slayer song, this cool like mask that was like crystal. It was crazy. And then Finn Balor came out as the Demon. So this was the Hell in a Cell match. This was a good Hell in a Cell. I wouldn't put it near the top of the all-time Hell in a Cell matches. I thought it was an effective way to end this feud. I thought that, some of the weird things about this match, though. So they brought out like a red steel chair and a purple kendo stick and like a purple table. And that's new. Now, I'm not sure if that's because the Judgment Day's colors are purple and edges are red. It was just something they haven't really done before. But I was happy that the Hell in a Cell was a new structure. It's not the red Hell in a Cell. It's a new one with a camera there. And then, they worked the match. So at one point, Edge hits Balor in the face with a ladder, and one of the rungs hit him right square in the face, and he's obviously been busted open. He's bleeding. Once again, like with the Shane segment, they cut over to Edge, and I'm like, great, another injury. Again, this cannot be blamed on WWE when these things happen. So what happened was, I guess the referee and the trainer came into the ring, and they started to like clean up Finn Balor's bleeding. You could actually see the blood like on the ring. You could actually see it like on the mat. So, that happens. But then finally they continue the match. And Edge hits this awesome like DDT from the top of a ladder. Nasty spot right there. The spot of the night was basically Finn Balor puts Edge on a table. And then he goes up to like where the camera rig is at in the Hell in a Cell and does the double stomp. And he hits the double stomp on he tries to hit it on Edge moves, he goes crashing down through the table, and then Edge hit a spear, didn't get him, and then he finally whacked him with the kendo stick and then hit him with a concerto and got the 1-2-3. So the demon has been pinned by Edge. I think this is the end of the demon character, and out of the Judgment Day, only one of them became the winner. I really do question WWE's decision to have the veterans win so much on these shows. Rey Mysterio beating Dominic, okay, fine, the feud continues. Edge beating Finn Balor, I don't know, man. I feel like Finn Balor probably should have won this match because of the fact that he's got a longer career left than Edge does. Snoop Dogg beating The Miz. I mean, Miz can always be rehabbed, but it's The Miz we're talking about. It's The Miz. So it is what it is. So then we have our main event. I'm sure you guys are waiting for me to talk about this, and I'm going to talk about it. Well, no, actually, before then, we had a backstage promo with Bianca, and then we had the Hall of Famers come out. That was nice, and they promoted, Seth Rollins. That was a minute after. They promoted WrestleMania in Philadelphia. So then we have our main event. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. Look, if you're expecting me to scream and holler and cry about this, I'm way too old to do that, but I am going to give you my honest thoughts. So first of all, entrances. Cody's entrance was really, really, really emotional. He gives his weight belt to Brody Lee's son, -1. And that shocked me because I thought that kid was literally under an AEW deal. But then you got to remember that kids don't get, you can't really sign a kid to a contract. But nevertheless, seeing him there was weird because that's always been like an AEW thing. And Michael Cole actually acknowledged him as John Huber's son. And that's Brody Lee. That shocked me, just hearing that. And then seeing Brandy with Cody's daughter was also a big shocker because, not in a bad way, but it was the first time we have ever seen Brandy on WWE television. They're there because they were there to witness Cody Rhodes being coronated, right? So Roman Reigns had this cool entrance with these piano players. They're performing like his music. He comes out with Solo. So during the match, Solo is interfering in the match, right? Well, first of all, let me say this. The match was absolutely phenomenal. It was emotional. These guys worked their asses off. It was about 35 minutes. I mean, the near falls in this match were breathtaking. These dudes busted out like Cody did all of his moves that are his brothers, Goldust Dustin, his dad's, like that was great. Reigns busted out like moves that he rarely does, like not German. vertical suplexes. The match itself was great. The work was great. You cannot deny that. I know the finish is the big story. I'm getting to it, y'all. So Solo ends up cheating multiple times, and then he gets thrown out by the referee. So that happens. They do a spot where Reigns and Cody go back and forth, and it's a good match. It's actually a really well-worked match. I mentioned that. There's a spot where Reigns tries to powerbomb Cody, but Cody does a backdrop, and he does the Cody cutter, and a really awesome Cody cutter. Really awesome. Like, Michael Cole really called it great. So there's a spot where, like, they're brawling on the outside, right? And at one point, Cody hits a super kick and a crossroads. That was awesome. But Reigns, of course, kicks out, does the standing Uranagi rock bottom, gets two. I think after that, at one point, Cody went for a disaster kick, but got caught with the midair Superman punch. You know, that was awesome. Blah, blah, blah. They go back and forth. The guillotine was great because Cody gets out of the guillotine. So they're building this up like Cody is countering all of Roman Reigns' moves. So just like I had predicted in my prediction video, Cody is about to hit the crossroads, but then Jimmy and Jay come out and super kick him, and then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn run in to make the save through the crowd, and they eliminate the Usos. Then Owens gives Roman Reigns the stunner. Sami Zayn gives Roman Reigns the haluva kick. So Roman Reigns getting hit with everyone's finisher, and at this point I'm like, wow, so this is going to be the finish, right? So the Usos get taken out. Rhodes covers Reigns, and he does not get the pin. So he gets up, starts doing the Dusty Bionic Elbow, the Gold Dust Uppercut. Here we go. 2 consecutive crossroads. Heyman distracts the referee. Roman sort of backs Cody up into the corner, and then Solo Sikoa with a hoodie on runs back into the ring, hits Cody with the Samoan spike. Reigns runs off of one rope, then to the other. He spears him. At this point, I'm like, holy shit, he's going to get the 1, 2, 3. And he got the 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns defeats Cody Rhodes. This was an interesting decision. When I went to Twitter, a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people were speculating that Vince McMahon made the call. There's been talk that Vince is now back, and they think that he made the call. But Vince is also the guy who made that deal with Cody to, you know, basically become the, you know, get his big push. And Cody, it wasn't Cody's night tonight. So I have some thoughts about this. First of all, I said in my video, my prediction video, that if Cody does not win the title, it would be a major, major mistake. And I still feel that way. I think that one of the problems here is that Cody had been booked so masterfully all year. Yes, he got hurt, but he was going into this match undefeated. Roman had not lost since 2019. It was the perfect storm. This was the perfect storm for a title change. This is about as perfect as it gets for a title change. The bloodline angle was set to move on to the next phase here, with the bloodline possibly ending, or at least, you know, beginning to fall apart. But that's not what happened. Roman retained. So now that's 3 WrestleManias in a row that Roman Reigns has retained the title. Look, I'm just going to say this. I think if you're asking me why they did this, all I can think of is they're going to have Cody beat Roman at WrestleMania 40. They're going to do the rematch next year, and Cody's going to win. That's what they're planning. They're waiting till WrestleMania 40, the 40-year anniversary, and then they're going to have Cody win. Could I be wrong about that? Definitely, because I was very much in the camp that if Cody did not win this match, it would really hurt him. And it was weird that they had his family there. You know, they have Brody Lee's son there. Like, there's a lot of factors there that made me think that this guy's night was tonight. But it wasn't. I think that Cody's going to win next year. However, we have another problem. There's a major, major problem here. Roman beating Cody is not necessarily the worst thing to happen, even though it's not good for Cody's career. However, The issue I'm going to have is Roman Reigns is not going to drop that title until WrestleMania, right? So it'll be WrestleMania 40. Who in the blue hell is Roman Reigns going to work for the rest of the year? Is he going to wrestle Cody again? Is he going to wrestle Edge? We have seen that already, actually. Is he going to wrestle Dominic Mysterio? Like, who is Roman Reigns going to defend the title against for the rest of the year? Like, who's it going to be? Like, who is it going to be? I don't know. I don't know. That's my biggest concern. Roman Reigns has run through so many opponents, right? That Gunther, like, how many more guys are there for him to beat? So I have to deal with another. Now, look, let me tell you this. I love Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is a great wrestler, and he's definitely carried this story, and he's been phenomenal. But who else is he going to beat? Is Sami Zayn going to beat him at WrestleMania next year? The Rock? Are they still doing that? Like, there's a lot of questions I have about this. You know what I mean? What's really going to happen? You know, what are they going to do? And who is Roman going to wrestle the rest of the year? I just know that doing this finish on this night left the crowd deflated. I was just shocked. I mean, I haven't been that shocked since the streak was broken. And honestly, this really reminds me of when Lesnar beat Roman at WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans when they were going to coronate him that night. It really felt like that. Look, I'm not saying this is Vince McMahon's call, but a lot of people seem to think that it was Vince. Maybe it was. I don't know. I don't know. I just think they're holding off on the Cody win for next year, but that might be me being optimistic. I've had several people tell me shit like that they're done watching WWE. I don't know. People say that shit all the time, dude. All I know is this WrestleMania was built up very, very well. All I know is they had tons of momentum going into this show. Cody Rhodes was legitimately selling house shows out. He was a legitimate babyface star, and then they go and just pin him like that. I think it was the wrong time. I think that people who had just gotten reinvested in WWE are feeling very deflated. I think it may have been a bad move. I really do feel that this could have been a very bad move. And again, even if the plan is for Cody to win next year, this was a big mistake in my opinion. I do feel that way. And I don't know, man. It's going to be tough to watch WWE this year. You know, it's going to be hard to watch it this year. Like, because there's really nobody left. He's already ran through everybody in the roster. I thought Cody would win and they would give him time off. I don't know. This could be a big mistake. We'll see. In the next few weeks, this could have been a major catastrophic mistake by the company. We'll see. I felt very deflated, and it is what it is. I still think this was a tactical mistake, and I'll stick by that. What do you think? Let me know down below. We'll talk soon.